Hey everybody, I just wanted to give you a quick tour of your InfernoSt1k Android TV box, kind of go over some of the functionality and give you a sneak peek at what it looks like. So the first thing, this is what it's going to look like when you power it on for the first time. You are going to probably want to go here to settings all the way on the right, the green box, click that. You're going to, under device, go to network, and you're going to want to make sure you're connected to the internet. Click on Wi-Fi, select your network from the list of available networks, and put in your password for your network key. Other than that, you can do a wired connection with the Ethernet port on the back of the box. I would always recommend that if you can, if you're close enough to your router or to your modem to do it. That's the way I would do it. It's a little bit faster of a connection that way. The next thing I would suggest is going to your display settings and adjusting your screen position, making sure that you don't have any weird black boxes around the edge. You want everything to be really nice and close. Mine happens to be at 100% here, so I'm just going to leave it be. We'll go back and make sure our date and time settings are correct. I've got 4:38 p.m. and I've got 4:38 local time, so I am right. If you do need to adjust it, just go in here. It could just be your time zone is off. Just make sure you're in the right time zone. Central Standard Time for me. That will affect some of your functionality if your time and date settings are off. That's pretty much all we need to mess with initially. So let's go back to our home screen here. We've got at the bottom, we've got Netflix, which you will need a Netflix account, a paid Netflix account to access the Netflix on this device. Your free content, we'll talk about that in a minute. I'll show you where to find it. Aptoid TV is the next icon here, the orange guy with the arrow. That's going to be sort of like Google Play Store where you can download apps, but it's all free and you don't need a Google account connected to it. The next one over to the left is Mobdro. Mobdro is a great live TV service that will operate outside of our Fire Stick app that I'm going to show you in a second. Obviously YouTube we've got here. APK installer in case you want to mess around with installing APKs. And then this is our icon to get into our Kodi Media Center. This is basically the same thing as this orange box here. So I'm going to go ahead and click the large orange box just because I like it. All right, and that's going to bring us right into our home screen here. When it pops up, most likely it's going to be on movies for you. We've got some of the more popular movies up here, some thumbnails. That will take a little bit to load on the first run. So the first time you boot this, it's going to start to pull together and assemble all of these little thumbnails. These are just suggestions based on some popular things that people are watching. What I like to do is go down here all the way to the bottom. You'll notice we have Exodus, Specto, One Channel, Salts, and Valhalla. For me, my favorite, and I think the best, is Specto. Specto is really nice. We've got all sorts of movies right here. We can go to most popular. It breaks it down. Genre, year, people, most voted, box office, in theaters, latest movies. I always wind up reverting to the search. I mean, because you can just go in here and search any dang thing you want to. I mean, how about this? Goonies, one of my favorites from when I was a kid. There we go, right there. Goonies, 1985. Anything, I mean, anything with the word Goonie in it, it will pop up. That's why I like the search. It's pretty thorough. It searches keywords, but most of the time you got just like a nice little directory of what you wanted. So that's movies. Similarly, Specto and Exodus for TV shows that you like to watch. I mean, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, so I believe that's probably at the top of the list under most popular here. And Specto, I would be surprised if it wasn't. There it is, right there. Walking Dead, Westworld, Black Mirror. We've got every episode up until the most recent one, which was this past Sunday night. That thing was up there. Let me tell you, it was up in about 40 minutes after the end of the show aired live. So if you don't catch it live, it'll be in Specto within a matter of hours, sometimes within a matter of minutes. Here we've got all of our live TV apps. Now, live TV is interesting. you're not going to find that every single channel works every single time. That's why we've got a lot of different options down here. Suicide TV works really well for me, as well as the Made in Canada IPTV. This is one of my favorites. C Cloud TV, VT TV USA. You've just got to kind of browse around, find out what channels work best for you. It's just like anywhere else. You've got reception that may come in better on some channels in your area. It may come in better on others. So you got options down here. Just find what you like to watch, and you can go ahead and pin it to your favorites if you want. Here's a bunch of live sports add-ons. It's kind of the same thing as live TV. You just basically search through, find what you want, and watch it there. We've got all kinds of kids movies here. This obviously, Sausage Party is not a kids movie. I don't know what that's doing in there. I think it just pulls stuff that's animated and puts it in there. My kids love all these movies, so they'll have to just kind of scroll through. We got some stuff down here that's not on Netflix. You know, some things that you're not able to find anywhere else. And then we've got a bunch of different live kids and cartoons channels down here. This is just got a bunch of randomness in here. We've got TV shows, movies, sporting events, all sorts of stuff. Just more and more content. The amount of content is really staggering. 24/7. This is basically just loops of your favorite TV shows. I mean, then they'll have like Mythbusters 24/7, where if you just feel like watching a marathon of Mythbusters, that'll be on there. We've got some music channels, Vivo, clubbing TV, a bunch of different stuff in there. I honestly haven't really messed with the music that much. Bunch of stand-up stuff. If you're into stand-up comedy, I love stand-up. So we've got all kinds of Robin Williams stuff, Martin Lawrence, I believe the new, there's all kinds of stuff. Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, one of my personal favorites, Richard Pryor, all the greats. The new Kevin Hart stuff is in here, I believe, someplace. You might have to search for it in Specto if you don't find it here. YouTube. This is sort of important to remember my favorites. So if you right click on something and pin it to my favorites, it'll show up here, which I do with a lot of my live TV channels that I know work really well for me. I put them and then they will show up here. Every once in a while, if you notice things slowing down, maybe it's not responding as quick as it normally would, you might want to just come here and clear the cache. This is where you'd go to clear the cache memory. You don't really have to do it. I usually do it like once a week. After you do that, everything's going to kind of, all the thumbnails will disappear and everything will have to load back. But it's worth it, you know, if things are slowing down. It's your weather forecast. I've got it set up for Chicago. All your video add-ons are going to be in here. This is important to remember because if you have adult content enabled, this is where you're going to need to go to find it. You would just click on this. It'll bring you to all of your video add-ons, and if you have adult content enabled, it will show up in here. I don't have any on this particular device because the person I'm setting this up for didn't want adult content, but that is also an option. Programs, you don't necessarily need to go messing around in there. Settings, all the skin settings and things like that are inside of here. Basically, you can adjust your zoom in here as well. It will be under appearance, just in case. You can go over to zoom it in, zoom it out. If you're having problems seeing the menu on the bottom of the screen like we were talking about with Specto and Exodus and everything, this is where you would change your zoom settings to be able to see that stuff. Not a very good idea to go and mess around in here too much because things are set up just so in order to keep the build moving properly. And then that's about it. Now this is going to bring us back to movies. Any questions, drop me a line on my YouTube channel or message me on Facebook. Most of you know how to do that. Thank you.